That's right, everyone. It's time for another Sunday Six Gate, which is obviously a competition, and this is a competition in which we will match up Argentum the Phoenix and the Tranquish VRX4-10 Pro R Ultra. So, you know them, but let's take a look at the competitors anyway. On the left, we've got the Vanquish Phoenix. Argentum is his name. On the right, we've got the Tranquish, which is a Vanquish VS4-10 Pro chassis with TRX4 axles. And they are going to go to head on the course. This week's course brought to you by Drybone Valley. Entering at the bottom of Slick Rock, Gate 1 is right at the top of Slick Rock. There's sort of a U-shaped left-hander to come down through Gate 2 on the little rubbly section. Passing through Gate 2, dropping down onto the dirt, and then having to clear basically just a wall that's about 5 inches high to pass through Gate 3. Gate 3 leading into another left-hander, which will traverse across the dirty, side hillish, broken up face of Drybone Valley proper, which will take them through Gate 4, and they can take as big of a hook as they need, including going all the way down to flat land, to transition from Gate 4 to Gate 5, as Gate 5 is very uneven. It will move across the top of the tunnel, and then exit down the near side line through Gate 6, which is going to be one of the really tricky parts. After passing through Gate 6, it's just a pretty smooth transitional drop down through the exit marker. The run scoring will remain our usual best of a 2-run format, but this time we're throwing in a joker, which is 2 attempts will be made on the forward, and then a single attempt on the reversed course. So they will pass through the exact same 6 gates, just in reverse order. The actual point scoring remains the same as it is in every event. 2 points for a reverse, 7 for a gate hit, 10 for a rollover. This week's gate spacing is Crawler Canyon Unlimited, which are 14-inch gate spacings. That's inside to inside. So we are, of course, doing the best first run score. So of the 2 attempts on the forward course, they take the best score. But then the second run score, the joker, is what you get. We combine the best first run with the joker, that's what you get. There are no gate points. A perfect score is 0. We begin, of course, with the traditional flipping of the Traxxas Canyon Trail. Argentum has chosen heads. It is indeed heads, and he has elected to go first. Argentum knows both the risks and the rewards of heading out on the course first. He knows the score will probably be the worst one recorded on the day, but you also get the first look at the course. You get the course before the soft parts have been all beaten up, and you get a little of those butterflies out of the way. You know what mistakes to avoid on the second run, so you're banking it all on the second. There will be quite a lot of engagements of dig during this, which is kind of why these two are going up head-to-head against each other. They are the same, but different. They have the same chassis, but different gearboxes. They both have dig. The Phoenix obviously has selectable overdrive. The Tranquish has unlockable diffs, which I believe he uses in a couple points here. Unlocking the rear diff is it's kind of like faux front overdrive, because you lose quite a bit of rear traction there, as it turns you into 3-wheel drive. So the Vanquish is coming out here relatively hot. This is the time to make mistakes, the time to see what lines are going to work. And as is the usual with the Phoenix, makes it look pretty easy, even when some of these obstacles are not easy. Once again, the camera sort of denies us that third dimension. So unless you get the camera right down in there at dirt level, you can't really see the amplitude, I guess I would say. But like this right here is a pretty tall breach angle, and there's a big overhang there to the left where if a tire goes too far in that direction, the whole rig goes that direction. But the Phoenix, as usual, doing fairly well here, especially for a first run. Coming up to gate 6, which is a tricky spot. The left-hand marker is basically tough to hit. It's under an overhang. But that overhang, as you can see, we're gonna power out. Throw a little reverse in there. It's not a rollover unless he has to be assisted out. So Argentum wraps up his first run around Drybone Valley. 2 reverses, 2 gate hits for a total of 18 points. We'll now see if the Tranquish learned anything from watching Argentum take his tour around. J-Concept's tusks on the Phoenix, J-Concept's landmines on the Tranquish. I find the tusks to be a more predictable tire, but making up a word here, the landmines are a more diggable tire. I don't know why, but the dig performance is both more predictable and I guess more usable in the Phoenix. I mean, in the Tranquish. The weights of the 2 rigs are relatively close, which is to be expected. What I did not expect, I guess it all comes down to body, is Argentum the Phoenix coming in at 7 pounds 12 ounces, and that's like there's nothing added to that rig. It has its electronics and it has alloy bead locks. The Tranquish is the same way. There's nothing added beyond what is required to hold the electronics in place. But between the 2 rigs, I mean, there's 7 servos between the 2 of them. So they're using up a lot of channels. Little tiny slip gate hit there, and then a reverse to avoid falling off. That section of very soft mix is getting cut up pretty fast because both these rigs on 4S, both running direct power 4S servos, both running Castle Copperhead plus Slate systems, a 1900 kV in Argentum and a 2850 in the Tranquish. This is because the final drive in a Phoenix is around 57 to 1. The front can change, obviously, with the 2 overdrives. But the Tranquish has a final drive of 94.5 to 1. So it has a tremendous amount of gear reduction. So it needs the extra kV just to try to earn back some of the wheel speed. So the Tranquish coming across the line in a pretty shapely fashion there, ending his first effort with 2 reverses and 1 gate for a total of 11 points. So at least for the moment, the Tranquish sits in the lead. And now Argentum will take his second run at the forward course. Argentum the Phoenix historically has like the biggest gap, first run to second run gap. Like, if he has to run out first, or even if he's not the first on the course, his first run will generally be a terrible score. Like, he's gotten into the 40s on some of the efforts, all under the same scoring, the same points system, and then we'll come back the second time out and, you know, single digits, because Argentum the Phoenix learns, I guess, is a very quick study as to what will work and what won't. So already here, coming up to breach for gate 3, completely clean at this point. This is a very tough section here. That climb is tall. Argentum getting very lucky there, went extremely wide, but completely hopped the left-hand marker and didn't touch it at all. Just went over it again. Trying to line up. Gonna power out. It's tough on the guy wheeling to remember that there are penalties for reverse, because as I have said in the past, I can use reverse liberally. There's no one here to stop me. If I have to stop myself from using reverse, I often forget to do so, because it's really easy to just pop it into reverse and set your line up better. So when these are in competition, and a little small foreshadowing moment here, the Tranquish takes a 2-point hit coming up because of the relative locations of the button that controls dig. They use different radios, and the dig button is not in the same spot between the two radios. So Argentum had just made this run, and then the Tranquish goes to make its run, and the nut behind the wheel went to actuate dig, and that button doesn't do anything on that radio. So the Tranquish basically drove into a fence. But, I mean, mental errors are mental errors, and penalty scores are penalty scores, so I'm not going to give out a free pass to myself because I can't remember where the buttons go. It's getting more and more undercut there. I think that particular gate, moving through 5, is a spot where I think portals are almost required to make it through there, because that, you can hear the clicking. That's dig, 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 dig. This was actually an instance where Argentum on a FlySky GT5, so you can't set the dig button to momentary. It's like, it's an on-off switch. So you turn dig on, you turn dig off. So there's a lot of button clicking. Argentum having to power out again, and Ops is thinking about making a tunnel run through, but got the wheel too high, rolls, sets itself. I thought I hit it that, it got a free reverse. So the scores are already in. I mean, I review the footage so many times, and sometimes I catch an extra reverse only when we get to here. So he only got hit for 3 reverses for 6 points. And it should be 4 reverses for 8 points. but he gets away with one, and the Tranquish gets hit right up here for 2 points that he didn't deserve. So in the final scoring, the differential should actually be another 4 points. See, right? Bonk, that should be in full dig. But the dig is up higher, so drove into a fence. Gets away with a nice application of reverse, and then a 94.5 to 1 gear reduction. You can move pretty slow. It's quite helpful when descending, and then when you have a gear ratio that low, and you need to pop up over, like say, a 5-inch high berm, it's above the hood. 4S will enable you to do that. Got lucky just as Argentum did, and that no tires hit a marker there on that pop. Should have lined that pop up better, and then makes it look easy on the second pop. Moving around to assault the side hill leading up to gate 4. As you can see, it's getting very cocoa powdery down on those rocks. The Tranquish is electing to take a higher line to try to hug the right-hand marker to stay off how loose that's getting out there, because that basically just falls off. It's maybe 3 feet down. It's not a huge amount, but it's a fair amount to fall. Very tidy down there in 4, taking it wide around up into 5. I don't think at any point there were any strikes on gate 5. There was a surprisingly low number of gate strikes overall, even going to the narrowest gate spacing that we've used up till this point. Both of these rigs are not exceptionally wide. This is stock TRX4 axle width, and Argentum is stock Phoenix axle width. So they're not wide track vehicles, which, you know, helps and harms. It is a compromise. It seems to me that on the day, the Tranquish was more sure-footed. Crosses the line, finishing his second run with just 3 reverses, also 6 points. Now, mind you, Argentum should have 8 points, but the scores are in, and the judge missed it. Argentum now setting out on his Joker run, which is 1 shot, reverse. You know, gate 6 is now gate 1. All the gates just go in reverse. This, you would think, would make gate 6 much easier, but in reality, I think the way gate 6 lined up, I think gate 6, which is now gate 1, is actually more difficult in this direction, because it's very off angle, and it would be very easy to strike the right-hand marker. So this is an instance where I think portals and a good amount of chunky body weight keeps them on the ground. What was formerly gate 5 and is now gate 2 becomes much more difficult in this direction, as it's very easy to get caught there, and it's just a drop-off. But we have copperheads with slates, which have drag brake akin to just throwing an anchor out the back. Gate 4 is now at the top of a hill, which is now gate 3. Argentum, quick way down, but rolls out. Luckily, Argentum scored no rollovers on the day, so no big 10-point hits. but rolled a number of times, like an unusual number of times. Usually is more stable. This gate here is tricky. Getting loose, another little bit of dig. Desperately trying not to use any reverses, just using dig to slide the rear end. I definitely don't count it as a reverse if dig is engaged unless it's a deliberate application of reverse. Like if you see one set of wheels spinning backwards, that's just reverse while digging in reverse. So going to a much more left-hand line as the right-hand line, it's just too vertical. I mean, it's probably 9 inches. It's about the width of the truck high. Stays pretty composed there. This is a lot more chopped up approaching it from this side than it is from the other side. I think it shows up that it's a lot more like, I don't know if this makes sense, but the side hill is steeper when approaching it from going from north to south rather than going from south to north. From here on, there's really only, in my mind, there's really only one sticky point. Gates 4, 5, and 6 is the transition at the top on the wood after passing gate 5 to enter through gate 6, because a turn has to be made at the top, and with a 14-inch gate width and a track width in that like 9.5, 9 3/4, you got to be careful where the gates lie. And Argentum there with another mental error. Argentum just seemed a little off of his game today. I just wanted to see a Sunday 6-gate, frankly, that didn't have Lil Yella in it, because like his head is starting to get big. He keeps winning these things. And also just the feeling of lightness in only bringing 2 rigs out to the course. So Argentum finishes his Joker with a respectable 2 reverses for 4 points, but 1 gate, which was a definite mental error, giving him a total of 11. So the Tranquish knows exactly what he needs to do now, which is attempt to go sub 11, as the official scoring sheet shows them both sitting on 6s after their second runs. Argentum made that look a little tougher. The Tranquish made that look pretty easy. I think that was a exhibition of exceptionally low wheel speed there. But we're going to trade in that exhibition of exceptionally low wheel speed for getting absolutely mired and not wanting to use a reverse to get out of that mire. Lands on its wheels, but let's see that in the slow-mo, and yeah, did not clear that gate. So it's not a strike, but that's a non-clear. So I just count that gate as dead, because he basically jumped through it. So he's going to take the 7-point hit for the gate. Didn't hit it, but also didn't clear it. So now he's basically trying the same cross the wall angle that Argentum tried. Argentum couldn't do it, and on the day, the Tranquish did, and is making very short work of his Joker run, because as I said, in my mind, this is the much more difficult portion of the course. What was 4, 5, 6 and is now 1, 2, 3. Because here, 4, 5, 6 is, unless there's a mental error, and I guarantee you the Tranquish is taking this as delicately as possible, because he knows where his score sits. Moving very slowly here through 5. Even on that diagonal line, going out exceptionally wide, which I think is smart, because hopes not to use a reverse up here on the platform. Pivots the front end around. Keeps it in tight. If that back tire clears, and does, through the finish gate with a tally of just a single gate, the jump gate. So he ends that run with 7 points. And that brings a close to this Sunday's edition of the 6th gate, this head-to-head. We'll take a look at how the final scores look. Argentum, of course, had that 18 on run 1, and the Tranquish finished with just 11. Those will obviously be the discarded scores, as they did much better after that. For run 2, they both posted a 6. That was the officially listed scores. So the 18 and the 11 are dropped. That moves us to the Joker, where Argentum recorded an 11. The Tranquish just a 7, which gives us our final scores. 17 for Argentum the Phoenix, and 13 for the Tranquish. This, of course, means that Sunday's winner, right here, his first event win, the Tranquish VRX4-10 Pro R Ultra. Let's throw some more names at it. It's gotten a little shock work since last time out. It's turning into quite a performer, and hopefully he can rack up some more wins in the future. So thanks for tuning in to another Sunday 6 Gate. Thanks for watching, everybody.